All right, folks, ¿cómo estás? And welcome to the Average Joe's Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, Jay Real, bringing you a Tuesday edition to the show. Now, this was a weekend in the NFL that I can't quite remember ever happening. How many injuries plagued NFL teams throughout this weekend? It's astronomical. But before we get to that, we want to talk about some other injuries specifically, and that's Jermichael James. He suffered a serious injury. He was in ICU for a few days, and reports are out right now that he is out of the ICU and he's actually walking around. Now, those are from reports coming from their camp. Now, we have to say a spinal injury is very serious, and as of course, anyone that has watched football or even played football especially, these injuries are very serious and delicate, so it's so good to know that he's going to be okay, but we do not know as of yet whether he's going to be out for the season or however many weeks. There hasn't been those reports to come out yet, but good news, he is reportedly walking around and he is out of ICU. So good for him. Our prayers went out to him and his family. So that's one horrible injury that occurred over the weekend. And before we get into more injury news, we have to say something about the Colts beating down the Broncos Sunday night. Now, many of you will see the score, or many of you that watched the game might not think that that was a big deal, but in all actuality, it is a very big deal. Why? Because the Colts have not only beat the Denver Broncos, but they also beat up on Seattle and San Francisco. They have been beating good teams. I feel that this team could make it deep into the playoffs if they can get Trent Richardson to hold onto the ball and actually start running the ball better. They gave up a number one draft pick for this guy, and Richardson, he needs to produce. He needs to do the job they brought him in to do. What was that job? To level the field out. You got to have that running threat. You got to have that throwing threat. And with Trent, if he can do the job, they're going to be balanced, well balanced. They have a good defense. They have an amazing kicker. So overall, this is a well-rounded team, and they could do some great things the rest of the season. Now, what does it mean for the Broncos? Well, they've only had one loss. So to say that this is, the end for them, I doubt it. They'll probably go on another pretty good game-winning streak here. But for right now, we are just loving the fact that the Broncos got put down, especially by the Colts. Now, we've been hearing reports for the last few days about, oh my gosh, the owner of the Colts is so smart. Give him all the credit for flustering Peyton Manning with the pregame celebration in his honor and all this stuff. That is bullcrap, folks. Peyton Manning is not going to get nervous. He's not going to be flustered by anything. This guy is your ultimate professional. What plain and simply happened here is that the Colts were a better team. They put it on them. And the score isn't really indicative of or really showing what the game was like, because they scored 12 or 14 points in the last 5-6 minutes of the game. And that's usually what happens when you're losing by such a big gap as they were in that beginning of that fourth quarter. So they gave up some pretty quick points to the Broncos. It would have been a lot worse if the Colts would have kept their foot on the back of the necks of the Denver Broncos. But they didn't. They let up. They started playing conservatively, and they allowed them to get back closer to the game. So big ups to Andrew Luck and the players of the Colts. I don't want to hear any crap about, give credit to the owner. It was the players. The players went out there and beat the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning, period. So that was a really good win for them. And then also the Giants finally get rid of their skid. They win against Minnesota Monday Night Football. And that was an ugly game, but that's okay. A win is a win. As we can say for my Pittsburgh Steelers, we won 2 weeks ago, and then this last Sunday we beat That's right, we beat the Ravens. So I can say it this year. In 2013, the Steelers are on a winning streak. My Steelers, all of you Steeler fans out there, and I don't want to jinx us, so I'm not going to get too much into it, but the Steelers are on a 2-game win streak. Hopefully, and my prayers are out to my Steelers, that they continue playing good football. I know they beat up on a couple of teams that aren't very statistically that good, but 2 wins is 2 wins, and I hope that momentum will carry forward and get us to some more wins. I don't think we're going to go, of course, in the playoffs or anything like that, but just give us some momentum, give us a little encouragement to wrap up the year and start getting ready for next season in a positive way. So, good for Giants, great for the Steelers. Can't say enough about them. And then let's get back into some of this injury news. These are the players that are just going down left and right this season, and especially over this last weekend with injury. We have Jay Cutler, might be out 4 weeks. This is the story on Jay Cutler. Are the Bears going to bring Cutler back? He is on his final year, and he really hasn't shown them that he is their franchise guy. There are up to about 6 or 7 quarterbacks coming out in the draft this year from the college, from college. Maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there, maybe the Bears lick their wounds right now. Jay Cutler's going to be out probably, again, 4 to 5 weeks, might not even get back before playoffs start. But maybe they decide to let him go and bring in who they possibly think could be the franchise quarterback in this year's draft. Just throw it out. Let us know what you think. Give us your feedback. Do you think Jay Cutler is going to be released after this season? Are they going to move on? Are they going to keep him? Are they going to sign him to a big year? He's going to be asking for at least around $100 million on a new deal. So do you think the Bears are going to take a chance with him as their future quarterback? So let us know for comments and feedback. We'll look at them. Now, moving on from that, Sam Bradford tore his ACL in his knee. He's out for the season. So they're going to have to deal with quarterback issues. You have Reggie Wayne with the Colts. He also has an ACL tear in his knee. He's done for the season. You got Nick Foles with the concussion. Is Michael Vick, is he going to be ready? And I told you all in the last show, if Nick Foles did a good job this weekend, Michael Vick could be in trouble. And now you got 2 quarterbacks on the Eagles that are struggling with injury. And is Michael Vick going to be the one that takes the start this weekend? Only time will tell, but he's going to need to. He has only a few games left to prove to other teams, because the Eagles are not going to keep Michael Vick, I believe, after this season. That's just my personal opinion. I think they're going to move forward either with a quarterback they have on the roster, like Nick Foles, or they're going to draft a new quarterback to move forward for the future. So Michael Vick only has so many games to show someone else out there that he could still be a starting quarterback. If not, it's going to be downhill and down the road for Michael Vick. And then you got Brian Cushing, who broke his leg. You got Doug Martin, who has a tear in his labrum, I believe it's called. I mean, guys are going down left and right. Briggs from Chicago's out for the rest of the season. I mean, guys were dropping left and right like flies this weekend. Never seen such a weekend with injuries ever before. And I don't know what to contribute that to, but it seems like as the years go on and they make these new rule changes and they keep defensive players and offensive players from being able to do what you've been trained to do your whole career in football since Pee-wee, and then all of a sudden tell them, okay, you can't do this a certain way. You can't do this a certain way. You can't do that anymore. You got to change this. You got to hit them here and below here. And before long, guys are just making too many thinking choices and not just reacting choices. And I think it might be leaving them up and leaving them open to hurting themselves or getting injured. That's just my personal opinion, because I do not like these guys in the NFL changing the game. And it's just, to me, these injuries are a good indication that, because it wasn't like this 10, 15 years ago. Yes, guys would get injured, but these guys are getting injured by the dozens every weekend. And in my personal opinion, I think it's because they're changing the way these guys play the game, and again, leaves them open for injury. So that's just my opinion. Again, leave us feedback, comment on that if you think I'm full of crap. Leave it on there. We'll discuss it. Now, moving on from injuries, and again, prayers go out to all those guys and their families. We don't want anyone to not be able to put food on their family's table. So we just have to say our prayers go out to them. Then also, we are so happy. The Average Joe Sports Talk Show is so excited and happy and elated, whatever term you can put on happiness, joy. The Patriots finally get a taste of their own medicine. And what I mean by that is they finally lost the game by some rule that has never been heard of, never been thrown or called, and it cost them the game. Oh my gosh. The Patriots they have a legacy built on this stuff, guys. They have a legacy built on getting over on teams this way. And what I mean by that is some stupid phantom calls no one's ever heard of that gives them a chance to win Super Bowls. They've done it twice. And I'm not trying to say, I mean, it could be a little haterism or whatever you want to call it, but the Patriots have won multiple Super Bowls, the only ones that they have that have been tarnished by bullcrap calls. They cheated the Raiders I don't know how many times. The Raider fans should be ecstatic at seeing what happened this Sunday because the Jets finally got a call no one ever heard of going their way, which allowed them another chance to win the game, and they did. They clinched the game, won the game because of this. They gave the Patriots a taste of their own medicine, and I love it because, I'm sorry, Patriots, you screw people all the time, the tuck rule and all this other garbage that they call on other teams for you to move on and win. And finally you get a taste. And I'm not getting off my soapbox now because I'm just so happy that the Patriots lost this way. They get a taste of their own medicine. So can't say enough for the Jets. Good job for them beating up on the Patriots. And now we have to move on and go forward with Kansas City. They are undefeated this season, and it's pretty amazing because you got a new coach in Andy Reid, comes over, and I mean, people were hating on Andy Reid. They were saying this guy would never be able to be a good coach. He wasn't a good coach. And now, granted, I know Kansas City has not beat up or won anybody with a really good record or a really good team. But hey, this is the NFL. Everyone should be good and decent in the NFL. So Kansas City is undefeated, good for them. And what's so funny is they're even talking, and there was little rumors last week, a couple weeks ago, about them trying to give back Tony Gonzalez so he would have an opportunity to play for a championship, because we all know the Falcons aren't going to be there. They totally blew their season. They blew it early in the season, didn't wait till the playoffs. So you got to feel a little bit bad about that for him because he's such an amazing player, doesn't get in trouble, doesn't get in the media in a negative way. So anyway, big ups to Kansas City. Good job to them. And then we're going to wrap up the show as far as sports goes with baseball. Man, the Dodgers, they blew it. They had a chance, an opportunity. They had the best pitching, the best bats, the best, I mean, I guess you can really look at it, and when it comes to baseball, the better teams do go further in the playoffs because you have the Detroit, who also lost. You have Dodgers. They have some of the best batters, some of the best hitters, some of the best pitching, but they weren't the better teams. So you got Boston and you got St. Louis in the World Series. And I'm just going to go for St. Louis because I'm so sick of looking at the the Red Sox players and some of these guys with their massive, nasty beards. And I just want to see them get beat just for that fact. So go Cardinals, even though I'm kind of getting tired of hearing about the Cardinals. But good luck to them in the World Series. Now we are going to go into the show wrap-up portion, and that is the Magic Minute. We here at the Player Zone, they held a tournament this Friday, and we want to give the results for that. And we had a first ever brother combination take first and second, and that's right. We had Zach, and we had his brother from Roswell. Those guys just came out and they played phenomenal. They built good decks, and it was nice because this was the Theros draft day tournament, and they had to face the Hydras, and guys hadn't, basically you had to play a pre-made Hydra deck that was sent by Wizards, and guys enjoyed playing that. And so congrats to the brother team from Roswell. You guys did a good job. They actually not only won the term, or got first and second, Zach taking first, and they also end up beating the Hydra deck and winning some promos out of that. So anyway, it was a really good and interesting tournament. A lot of guys showed up and participated. For any of you out there that are interested in playing Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, learning, getting into comic books, Star Wars collectibles, any kind of memorabilia, the Player Zone has your needs or your wants, desires, whatever you want to call it when it comes to sporting goods and gaming goods. They are your shop. You can hit them up on Sudrith at 2117 Sudrith, Unit 15. You can go right into the Player Zone, or you can contact them through their Facebook at Player Zone Facebook page and hit them up, and they'll get with you and try to get you whatever you need, or come on in and they'll get you set up with whatever you want. We also got to thank Right On Time Errand and Delivery Service. They're our big sponsor, and Freestyle Productions. They are jumping in head first with their videos and movies and all kinds of stuff. Can't thank them enough. They hooked us up with some new gear. They're really good. If you need anything from birthdays, weddings, bar mitzvahs, quinceañeras, you want it filmed and put in a way that you can look at it and look back on it and be happy and enjoy the memories, check them out. You can also contact them through the Player Zone as well. So for right now, this Friday here at the Player Zone, they are going to be doing a Anything Goes tournament. You're welcome to come on in and jump on that. If you want to contact them, you can contact them as well at 575-257-0559. Contact them and they'll get you all set up. But for right now, we hope you enjoyed the news. It was a lot to cover, especially a lot of football. And here pretty soon we're going to start getting ready for basketball. It's about to start, and I'm going to tell you right now, the Heat are probably going to three-peat. As I've been saying for over a year now, they're looking pretty good. So anyway, for right now, J Real's going to sign out. Peace and much love. We will see you on Friday's show. Don't miss it.
Yeah.